Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and these are today's top stories. Maronite Patriarch Shadadai begins his pastoral visit to Tyre, calling on politicians to rise above their personal interest and work for Lebanon's sake. Top diplomats meets in Switzerland in a fresh push to revive a ceasefire in Syria after pro-government forces intensify their bombardment on Aleppo. And Hillary Clinton tells supporters Trump is unqualified and unfit to be the president as she continues to solidify voter support with less than 4 weeks away till election. Thank you for tuning in. Maronite Patriarch Shadadai has begun his pastoral visit to the city of Tyre in the south of Lebanon. The Patriarch's first stop was the town of Ain Ibil, where he was met by a representative of House Speaker Nabih Berri as well as MP Ali Bazzi, a representative to Hezbollah as well, MP Hassan Fadlallah, somebody from the Kataib, former Minister Salim Sayegh, and former General Wahbi Katisha representing the Lebanese forces. Also greeting the Patriarch was UNIFIL Chief of Staff and leaders of the French, Finnish and Irish contingents, as well as representatives of the Lebanese armed forces. Rai took this opportunity to lay the cornerstone for the Shrine of the Virgin Mary and unveiled a commemorative plaque marking the occasion. He also officiated over a mass service at the Church of Our Lady in Ain Ibil, in which he said that Lebanon is in need of political and politicians that could come up with economic and social solutions rather than complications. Daesh has claimed the Baghdad bombing that has killed at least 30 people and counting, according to a statement that they released earlier today. A suicide bomber attacked a Shia majority area of North Baghdad, killing at least 19 and wounding more than 24. The bomber struck in the Shab area of the Iraqi capital, targeting either a funeral tent or one at which Shia Muslims distribute food and drinks on the occasion of the annual religious commemorations. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, but Daesh has carried out suicide bombings targeting many members of Iraq's Shia majority, whom it considers heretics. ISIS has claimed several recent bombings targeting Shias in the Iraqi capital, including one on October 9th that killed at least 5 and 2 more earlier in the month that left at least 10 dead. And 2 more Daesh claimed bombings killed at least 17 people in Baghdad at the end of September. Top diplomats are meeting in Switzerland in Lausanne in a fresh push to revive a ceasefire in Syria after pro-government forces intensified their bombardment on the battered city of Aleppo. Since the collapse of a truce last month, Aleppo has been ravaged by a major onslaught by forces loyal to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad, backed by Russia, which has prompted renewed efforts to secure a pause in the fighting. With Washington and Moscow backing opposite sides in the 5-year war, the talks in Lausanne are bringing together U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry and his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov with top diplomats from the UN and regional powers, including Iran. Kerry plans to hold one-to-one meetings with Saudi Foreign Minister Adel Jubeir and then with Lavrov before the multilateral talks start later in the afternoon. And across the Atlantic, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump says that he's a victim the same day 2 women accused him of sexual misconduct. He was quoted as saying, "I am a victim of one of the great political smear campaigns in the history of our country. They are coming after me to destroy and try to destroy completely what is considered by even them the greatest movement in the history of this country." He said this at a rally in North Carolina, where he was joined on stage by several women, including his daughter-in-law Laura Trump and Omarosa Maggino, a former contestant on his reality television show The Apprentice. With the allegations against Trump dominating the campaign, opinion polls show Trump trailing Democratic rival Hillary Clinton. A Reuters opinion poll taken October 7th to 13th and released on Friday showed Trump behind Clinton by 7 percentage points among likely voters in the November 8 election. National opinion polls have shown that women voters have been fleeing Trump in large numbers, putting his campaign in free fall. And so Hillary Clinton told supporters that her opponent was unqualified and unfit to be the president. She continues to solidify voter support with less than 4 weeks away until Election Day. Hillary Clinton leads the Republican nominee by 7 percentage points, according to the latest poll. And Republican nominee is trying to fight off still the accusations of groping women.
Shocker to me when I hear some of our fellow citizens, led by my opponent degrade and demean so many other Americans, it's heartbreaking, really. And as our extraordinary First Lady and my friend Michelle Obama said so powerfully, when they go low, we go high. It isn't easy running against someone who is so negative, so divisive, so dark and dangerous. I have said many times, I've known Republican presidents. I had to work with President George W. Bush after 9/11 when we had to rebuild New York City, and he gave me his word, and he was good to it, that we would get the resources we needed.
Coming up next, we talk Food Blast with Jana Salman, the Vice President and a hero hunger. Stay with us. We'll be right back. We're back with the Future English News here. The World Food Day is taking place tomorrow. It's October 16th, and the world has an enormous food waste problem. Now, about 1/3 of the world's food produced for human consumption, approximately 1.3 billion tons, worth almost $1 trillion, is lost or wasted every year, according to the UN's Food and Agricultural Agency. It is thrown away, landfilled, incinerated, allowed to rot, or plowed under. Now, this crisis has both environmental and social implications, and this waste is occurring while 1 in 8 people go to bed hungry every single night. In recent years worldwide, there have been growing movements to save edible products from going to waste and redistribute them to people in need. And in the MENA region, Lebanon particularly, the organization Food Blast is leading the way in that direction. The community-based food rescue program provides an effective and efficient solution to hunger while addressing the serious and growing problems of food waste in Lebanon. And with us today to answer more questions and tell us about the implications of food waste is Vice President and Hunger Hero at Food Blast, Jana Salman. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
So we've had the CEO, I should say, and the founder of Food Blast, Maya Tero, tell us a little bit about it. But can you remind our viewers what it is exactly that you do?
Of course. So Food Blast tackles hunger in Lebanon and in the region, and we spread at the same time awareness about food waste and food rescue. And actually our volunteers prepare meals on a daily basis. These are free meals, and they give them to the hungry or to the low-income population. And by diverting the food waste that goes to waste basically into healthy and delicious meals. And the way we do that is we intercept food that is unwanted from different partners like restaurants or, let's say, supermarkets or farms or catering agencies, and we transform it into delicious meals.
You know, are restaurants willing to help? Are restaurants, have you found from your experience that restaurants are willing to come on board and help out, or how did it work in Lebanon specifically?
Of course. Yes, of course. So some of them do want to help and do want to work with us. Some others don't, because maybe they have restrictions on the surplus food that they have or the leftovers that they have, and so that we don't use in our soup kitchens. But we had few partners who would donate their leftovers, or this is still edible food that gets donated to us.
Do you want to name those partners, or you'd rather not?
Well, Za'atar Zayt is one of the partners.
Okay. Go Za'atar and Zayt.
Yes.
Okay, how much food do the Lebanese actually waste? Do we have a figure here?
Ridiculously a lot, like tons of food, millions and tons of food get wasted. That they don't. This is food that gets not consumed on a daily basis, and it's actually, as you said, it goes into landfills. It's incinerated. It's thrown away. It's left to rot, and it has direct implications on our environment, on our society, morally, environmentally, socially. So if you consider the amount of chemicals and waste and fertilizers that go into transporting and selling this food, you would check the impact of, you would know the impact of it environmentally.
You know,
plus, plus it goes into landfills, and you know, once it's there, it decays into methane, which is a greenhouse gas, which is very bad for the environment.
You know, there's been a lot of environmental issues in recent years, especially now with the food, not with the food, excuse me, with the waste management crisis piling up on the streets of Beirut and different cities in Lebanon. And, you know, whenever we talk to people in different environmental agencies and even some of the ministries, they say everything starts at home and everybody can do their little bit. So how can the viewers back at home help this unique cause that you're leading?
Okay, so they can help really right away, either by donating food, donating money, or donating their time.
But where do they go?
Of course, they could visit our website or Facebook page. We're very responsive on our Facebook page. And even if they can't donate their time, basically by volunteering, they can really follow 6 steps that would help them cut food waste, and they would be, you know, saving the planet and protecting their pockets at the same time. So I'm going to share with you these 6 steps.
Yes, go ahead.
So the first step is, you know, you plan your meals ahead, portion your food. So have a grocery list so that when you go and shop, you would know exactly what you're buying because you planned it ahead. So basically, you'd be buying food that you need, and this way you'd be avoiding food waste. The second thing is don't shop while you're hungry. We do that a lot.
I'm guilty of that.
Yes, we do that a lot. And
start eating in a supermarket, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you end up impulse buying, and you know, this food gets like mostly thrown out. So there's a rule to this, cut out a third rule. Basically, when you finish your shopping, look at your shopping cart and literally cut out a third of that food because you might want it, but you don't need it. The third tip is don't buy into bargains. So sometimes you'll get buy one, get 2 free, buy one, get 1 free items, which is not necessarily good for you, especially if you're living alone, because you wouldn't be needing this much food, and you would end up overbuying at the end of the day. And if you are a large family, sometimes also you get bored from, you know, eating the same food all over again. So don't buy into bargains. The fourth tip is love your leftovers. So if you have veggies,
oh my God,
yeah, if you have veggies,
love
you have meat,
your leftovers.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily take hours of work to prepare. You know, you can turn it into whole meals by incorporating it with carbs, pasta, I don't know, wrapping it up in a tortilla or anything. So this is one of the tips. The fifth tip is store your food properly. So make sure that the temperature of your fridge is set at the right time, and because it has a direct impact on preserving your food. So store it properly and freeze it. And the last tip is donate it. You can donate it to Food Blast by also visiting our Facebook page or visiting our website or calling us.
The website is www.foodblast.org.
Or you can also call us on 03-040-989.
Okay, repeat that one more time.
03-040-989.
All right. So for more information, you can log on to www.foodblast.org to see how you can donate and always be conscientious of what you buy and how much food is being wasted. Thank you so much, Diana, for being here and talking about this worthwhile cause.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And on that note, we'll end our bulletin for today, and I will remind you of today's headlines. Maronite Patriarch Shaddai begins his pastoral visit to Tyre, calling on politicians to rise above their personal interests and work for Lebanon's sake. Top diplomats meet in Switzerland in a fresh push to revive a ceasefire in Syria after pro-government forces intensify their bombardment of the battered city of Aleppo. And Hillary Clinton tells supporters Trump is unqualified and unfit to be president as she continues to solidify voter support with the election less than 4 weeks away. Those are your Saturday headlines live on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, wishing you a great weekend. Have a good one.